Well, it has two functions. On the one hand, the financial institutions make money off of this. They make money off the interest rates they charge us, they make money off the late fees and all these other fees. But what they really don't tell us, because it's not in their interest, is that this debt has an even more important function, and that is to control the population. When you're in debt, you're not going to be likely to talk back to your boss. When you're in debt, you're going to hold on to a crappy job that you would like to have walked away from. When you're in debt, you may not want to engage in radical working class actions like protests because, God forbid, your employer finds out and then fires you for it. In short, debt is a way of creating insecurity for the population and therefore resulting in a docile workforce that can be easily controlled. Because now the worker that's in debt is thinking, if I lose this job, how am I going to be able to service my debt? In other words, how am I going to be able to service my pimp and give him what he wants every month, every week, and so forth? But to reiterate, we have been forced into debt through deliberate policies. This is not coincidence. Just like a poor migrant female worker could be tricked by sex traffickers into prostitution, today, financial institutions, through the control that they have over government policy formation, not to mention that their vice presidents and presidents become the government representatives themselves through that revolving door between corporations and government, these organizations, these financial institutions, have basically enslaved us through this debt that was artificially and deliberately manufactured to take control over us. So what should be the solution? I would propose that for the bottom 80% of the population, which is working class and a lot of what we would call middle class, which is middle class in name only today, we eliminate all and every type of debt, except for wage and labor-related obligations. Any other form of debt, eliminate it. Take it out, erase it. If anybody has seen the film Fight Club, you'll know what I'm talking about. Now, how can you do this? Well, it's called direct action. You have to be militant. You have to be like the French workers, the Greek workers, the workers of other industrialized countries that hit the streets in the millions and protest and threaten their politicians to pass pro-labor, pro-working class laws. And working class does include that middle class. In fact, this is nothing new. It has been practiced in the United States. Problem is, it has been practiced by the Republicans and the corporate thugs that are called the Tea Party. It has been well documented that the Republicans and Tea Party goers would deliberately storm the offices of politicians to intimidate them to pass either laws favorable to corporations or to not pass laws favorable to the general population, like health care. And I have to admit, oftentimes a lot of the people involved in these forms of protest, which are manufactured by the corporations and the elite, could also include people that are in fact working class but unfortunately don't know better. They have been victimized, they have been duped. But most of them know what they're doing. They are in fact the dogs of the elite, of the corporations. And if it's okay for them to threaten and intimidate our politicians in their offices to pass laws that benefit the 1% of the population, then what is wrong with us, who is a population, us being the working class, a population that is far bigger than all of the elite combined? Why shouldn't we go to our politicians and forcefully demand that our debts be eliminated? In fact, here's the ultimate irony. If this were to ever happen, we would have seen an expansion of the economy of historic proportions. Why? Because where do you think most of your money goes to? It goes to paying your rent, it goes to paying your mortgage, it goes to servicing your pimp, aka your debt payments on your credit cards and other types of credit. If we didn't have this, how much more disposable income would you have? And what do people like to do? Whether they're lefties, on the right, wherever they may be, they like to consume, they like to buy things. So if we didn't have all this crushing debt, we would be buying a lot more of everything. And since in the United States, 70% of the economy is based on consumption, imagine what kind of a boost that would be to our economy. But there's another problem to that. And the problem is, it also would result into a self-assured, self-confident working class. And that's exactly what the elite understand and are terrified to be confronted by should there be no debt. Because when you have no debt, when you don't have a mortgage, when your house is secured, when your food is secured, when you know your kids are not going to go to bed hungry or homeless, how much more likely are you to be radical? How much more likely are you to engage in protest? How much more likely are you to tell your boss to go fuck himself? And that's what they're afraid of. They're afraid of a working class that would be self-assured, just like the working class of France, of Sweden, of Greece, of other countries that will fight back. To which I say, bring it on.
Satan, Satan, lend me $1. Satan, Satan, lend me $1 now. Satan, Satan, lend me $1. Satan, Satan, lend me $1 now. Satan, Satan, lend me $1. Satan, Satan, lend me $1 now. Satan, Satan, lend me $1. Satan, Satan, lend me $1 now. I have no money to pay my rent. All my money has been spent. Pray to God again, no